Hello! Welcome. No, I can't.
That's so funny. Come on, do it.
Hello! Welcome to the vlog. Don't use that.
Oh, yeah. Hello, welcome back to the vlog. Today we have some special guests and I'm super excited to get into that. So before we get started, don't forget to click the little bell thing and that'll tell you when I post new videos. I try to post every weekend and I haven't picked a specific day yet because your girl is trying to practice some good self-care. So we're going to talk about Disneyland, specifically advice for my plus size friendly girls and boys who may have some anxiety about going to Disneyland, or even if you're a returning Disneyland veteran. These are just nice and helpful tips to keep in mind when you're going out with your friends, when we can all go once more. So I have invited some of my favorite people, and so I will be joined by my husband again, Helton, my friend Jessica, and my other friend Sean from ft.SitakeTube. And yeah, let's get into it. Oh, sorry. Before I get started, don't click out because I have a special surprise for those of you who stick with us till the end, and I am super excited about it. So yeah, let's get into it. Okay, what were your main concerns before going to Disneyland the first time?
The first time I went, I was 8, so I didn't have any concerns. But the second time that I went, I believe I was about 22, maybe 23, and I didn't have any concerns then either. I mean, I probably should have, because I didn't fit on all the rides.
I think my main concern before going to Disneyland was, one, how will I react with the crowds around me, just because I ran a little more anxious. And the crowds were a big concern, but I was also really worried about getting to the front of a line and not being able to fit in a ride and then being kicked off and being really humiliated. So I think just not fitting in rides were a big concern of mine.
I think there's always a concern of just like crowds, people, like long lines and stuff at Disneyland. So that's always been a concern for me, and so I avoid that by making sure I go the right times of the year.
So I had been a couple of times before this trip, this specific trip that I'm referring to, but this one trip was the heaviest I'd ever been, the biggest I'd ever been. So my biggest concern / worry was the attractions and whether or not I would be able to get on them. I worked myself up into such an anxiety that I didn't want to go at all. But I have some really supportive friends / pushy that wouldn't let me not go. So I looked up a bunch of YouTube videos, anything I could find online, and there was a fair amount of plus size people, you know, kind of giving their input and advice, but I felt like none of them were my size. So just for reference, just gonna throw myself under the bus right now. I'm a size 30, if that helps any of you out in my answers after this. But yeah, that was my biggest concern, is getting on rides and being able to ride them, and then also the walking, but yeah.
What ride is a no-go for our plus-size friendly people?
There is definitely a no-go, and that is definitely Space Mountain. I only say that because we had an audio problem. I got tickets for Disneyland from Power 106 radio station. Shout out to Power 106. If you don't listen to them, you should. Nick Cannon in the morning. It used to be Big Boy in the morning, but now it's Nick Cannon, I believe. Anyways, I got tickets, and then I went with Wesley Matavao, rest in peace, Wes, Amin and Ula Matavao, and we all went. The no-go ride was Space Mountain, and we get into the cart, and he says, "Did you click?" And I was like, "I think so." And he was like, "Are you sure?" And I was like, "I mean, I think I clicked. I mean, I'm probably 90% sure." And he was like, "Oh, don't worry, I got you, bro." Give me a wink, you know. I was like, "Oh, cool, thanks. We're gonna go on this ride," you know. And it was all the boys, all 4 of us, and then there was 2 in the back. You know, the first cart goes forward, and the second cart goes forward, and then we come up and they're going to the right. We come up and we go to the left. And the person that was taking care of the ride, he looks over and he's like, all right, guys, looks like we have an audio problem. And so the Caucasians in the back were like, what's going on? What are we doing? Why aren't we going on the ride? And the boys are like, man, you want us to get off with you? I was like, no, I'm cool, man. I'll just meet you guys at the end of the ride. And he was like, all right. And I was like, all right, go have fun. And then finally they get to go right, and all the Caucasians were like, oh, yay, you know. And so they ended up going on the ride, and I did not. But it's okay, we still had fun. So if you're a little plus size or a little big and tall, you might want to check it out before you go.
For those of you who are like me and were a little concerned about whether or not you'll fit on things, I think one ride that I definitely don't recommend, especially if you're someone who has, you know, if you're claustrophobic, the Finding Nemo submarine ride is just like, and so here's the thing, like, there are these like stadium seats that like fold down, and they're really, really tiny, but you also, like, to enter, you have to walk down this little spiral staircase, and it's just like, it's just a lot. So had I not been with the people in our party, like, I was with our family members, and so obviously I wasn't super uncomfortable, but I was thinking, like, man, if I was sitting next to a stranger on these little itty bitty seats and then underneath the water for like a ridiculous amount of time, it just was a no. It's a no go. You can do without it. And I think another one that I kind of struggled with, but I don't think it's a no-go, I think it's something to be aware of, would be Splash Mountain, just because I'm very like hippie. Like, you know, and so like it's like a log type of ride, and you kind of just sit there, but you have to like straddle the person that's in front of you, and it just yeah, no, it was a very like, and so it was a tight fit but a fun ride. So
a no-go, I would say, is Space Mountain is like the tightest seating of any attraction that they have. So that, I would say, pretty much that one, and everything else. Matterhorn is like a little, and Splash Mountain, I think actually Splash Mountain, Matterhorn, and Space Mountain, of all attractions, have the tightest seating.
So I'm kind of bouncing off of Sean's answers. Splash Mountain was pretty tight. I sat in the very back seat because it looked like it had the most room. It was a tight fit, and it was even harder getting out because then you're wet. And my denim was like, I thought I was gonna get stuck getting out of that, and I was just gonna lay down in the water and let all the logs roll over me, but it ended up being okay. He mentioned Matterhorn. Matterhorn is tight, but I was just fine in that one. You may not be comfortable, but most likely you'll be fine. The belts come out quite a ways. It's a tight squeeze, but the belts come out really far. The one that is a no-go, like for real no-go, was Space Mountain. Cast members were very kind and very patient. We explained to them that I wanted to see if I could fit in it first. So they pulled one of the whatevers up front, and they let me hop in and try it, and it was a no. It was just, yeah, it was not gonna happen. So I just got right off, and you know what? Do it. If you want to try it, and don't for 1 second be scared about people watching you, or people, just don't worry about it. But yeah, that's my no-go, is Space Mountain.
what are your top favorite rides?
Hopefully someone from Disneyland is watching this, because every ride is a must ride. Unless you can't fit on them. The first ride is going to be Tower of Terror. Very big and tall friendly for all you males. Plus size friendly for all the females. And just friendly for all those who are. But yeah, Tower of Terror. California Screamin' is also a good one. And Splash Mountain.
Pirates of the Caribbean is always a classic. It's probably always one of the first attractions that I'll go on, or try to go on to like start my trip. And the seating there, there's no issue. They're like open rows in a boat kind of a thing. And soaring over the world, but soaring over California. So right now it's soaring over the world, which is really cool, like really cool. You see like places on calendars and stuff. So the classic soaring over California, anytime they bring that back, oh man, it's so nice to have it back. And like it's the classic, so that's a good one. And I would say that one is, yeah, like plus size friendly. I mean, we all have gone on it, and the seat belts come out pretty far. It's like the seating is like on a kind of like a suspended carriage kind of a thing, and then you would just sit in it and pull a seatbelt strap. Your legs are hanging. So I don't know, Dumbo, the carousel, Peter Pan, everything in Fantasyland. I don't know. You gotta go on those. Those are it's very hard for me to pick. So I would say everything in Fantasyland at night.
Right.
Specifically at night. Do it.
I think that the Cars ride in Radiator Springs one was really fun. I do think that there are seatbelts in that one, but I didn't have any problems buckling. I think there was more than enough room. One day in the future when things open up, I will give you a better and more detailed review of that ride, but that was super, super fun. What's it called now? Guardians of the Galaxy. And okay, so I had no idea what that ride was about. So it was an exhilarating and terrifying surprise that it was like an elevator shaft and it goes boom and like just. But I was thinking, we went for Rexy on a Disney pass on his, can you see this? Hold on his Make-A-Wish trip, and part of that was that he had a Genie pass, and so we didn't really have to wait very long because they made it really special for him. And so I was thinking, out of all of the rides that we went on, that is probably one of the rides that I wouldn't mind waiting an hour and a half or however long people wait in line to ride the ride. So yeah, Guardians of the Galaxy. Also, look at my sister's face in this picture. Okay, now.
This is really hard to answer, but I would say Guardians. Guardians is so fun. Just try it once. I know, like, I'm terrified of falling. I'm terrified of heights. That feeling terrifies me. But I'm like laughing through the crying. Their seating, easy. They're individual seats with, you know, little arms, and the belt pulls out over you, and the belt could strap your entire row. So don't worry about it. You're fine. I'm gonna change my answer to Incredicoaster. I love that ride. It's just fun. It's just fun. Fast adrenaline. Gets your adrenaline going. Size friendly. Very size friendly. You just get in and pull the little shoulder things down over you, and there's nothing that comes up over your lap. None of that. Yeah, you'll be good. That was hard. I love all of them. All of them except for the teacups. The teacups can bite the wall. 3 tips to making Disneyland the best experience ever.
Let's see. Go with me. No, just kidding.
2.
There's dining packages that you can do and get a preferred viewing area for those shows, but you can also go eat at Blue Bayou, which is the restaurant in Pirates of the Caribbean. Dining packages, so worth it. In DCA you can do Carthay Circle, and I highly recommend it. And then you get to watch the amazing shows at night, preferred viewing. The next tip I would say is to Max Pass. Well, okay, this is like pre-COVID. When Disneyland reopens, it's gonna be way different. I don't know, no one knows. Like, I know for sure they're not doing park hopping and Max Passing, but when all that becomes available again, when life is normal again, then Max Pass for sure is worth it. Like, all the photos you can get everywhere on all the attractions, and like all the photo ops, as well as the like time saved by just booking everything through your app, all your fast passes, and also watching the wait times on the map on the app, so that you know like what's in your vicinity that's like pretty much a short wait, and you can like feel like you're doing something instead of like standing in line for 3 hours. So third one would be to park hop. I don't know, I guess it depends on how long you're going for, but I usually always will want to just park hop just to have the options of going between both parks.
The best tip is probably to go with people that are fun, that are gonna make the trip fun. I had some good friends that I went with. California Screaming was the ride that we went on after Space Mountain, the whole Space Mountain debacle. You like that word? Anyway, so we went on California Screaming, and what we would do after Space Mountain was we would look for someone ahead in line, and if they were bigger or just as big, we would wait and see like, oh man, is he getting on the ride? And then once he clicked, we'd be like, oh, for sure, man, we was in. And so we would get in and we'd go on the ride, and California Screaming was good. But yeah, good people, good walking shoes, just be walking for a while. Dr. Scholl's, make sure you get some of those.
Okay, so there are so many tips, but I'm gonna cater this one to all my plus size homies. Do not let your fear and your anxieties about just everything keep you from going, and then on top of that keep you from having a good time. If people are gonna stare, no matter what, people are gonna stare at a stick skinny person. They're gonna stare at anything that is different from them. Don't worry about getting on rides and having people stare at you, or getting on a ride and having to get back off because you can't ride it. You're never gonna see those people again. And if they are thinking mean thoughts, that is 100% on them. So just go and have fun, and don't, who cares? Like, who cares? If you have to get back off the ride, you're still hella cute. Don't even worry about it. Rent one of the little scooters that they have, the Jazzies, whatever. If you can, rent from somewhere else, not the park, because theirs are, they need updating. They're big and they're bulky, and they're like the Buicks that we all drove in high school. Like, they're hard to maneuver. They don't go fast. Yeah, Disneyland hotels, all of those, they have really good ones. Anyway, get one of those. It will save you. If you are worried about fitting on an attraction, or wondering if you can get the seatbelt, any of that, just quietly ask a cast member, explain your situation, and they are incredibly helpful and kind about it. They will allow you to try it as discreetly as possible. Like, they'll, you know, pull a ride up to the front. And anyway, just don't let your fears hold you back, because it's such an amazing place, such a magical place to, yeah.
Some tips that I have for you guys that are going to Disneyland is to get a scooter. I mean, like, I was super mad about it at first, and I thought that I was going to be embarrassed, but by the end of the day, like, the scooter saved my entire trip. I was so much more pleasant because I could me all over the place, you know. So get a scooter. Do yourself a favor and get a scooter. My feet still killed me, and I was riding the scooter half the time. So do yourself a favor, get a scooter, and also go buy some Mickey Mouse ears, because I'm kind of sad that these aren't mine. So shout out to Sabrina and Jenny for letting me borrow your Mickey Mouse ears for this video. But oh, and bring a water bottle and your own food, because Disneyland food is expensive. But bring a water bottle so you can refill it, because ain't nobody trying to spend 10 bucks for water. You know what I'm saying?
So food recommendations I recommend is a churro. And that's because that's the only thing we ate the whole day. Because we are some starving college students. And and I think we shared one. For 4 big Polynesians, dude, or it wasn't that big, but 4 Polynesian dudes sharing a churro. But afterwards, Burger King saved our life. And the boys are gonna attest to that. That Burger King is probably one of the best fast food experiences that we had, because I believe we were starving. Other than that, bring your own food, or bring a whole lot of money, because you're gonna be spending it there.
All right, this is going to be really hard for you to answer, I know. But what are some emphasis on some, a few food recommendations?
Well.
All right, everyone, sit back. You got time.
So on Main Street, there is obviously there's this Coke corner right there, and you want to go in there and get some pretzels. There's the sweet cream stuffed pretzel and this jalapeno cheese stuffed pretzel. They're both fire. Okay, go get that. Then into Adventureland, there's some bao at this tropical hideaway. Fire. Go get the bao. It's kind of like curry. And then I'm like gonna go around the park traveling. Obviously turkey leg, a chimichanga from the carts. Get a chimichanga. They are worth it. They are bomb. They're the best chimichangas. And in Galaxy's Edge, there are these Ronto wraps. And there's this breakfast one and a plant-based one. And they are all so good. My personal favorite is the plant-based. I would highly recommend to go get that. And a blue milk while you're back there. Or green, or mix them, swirl them, whatever.
Food recommendations, I definitely suggest going to get the gray stuff because it's delicious. They have different churro stands around the parks, and so the plum churro is super good. And I also really like the beignets. And yeah.
The gray stuff from Red Rose Tavern. You have to try the gray stuff. It's delicious. Raspberry Rose Macaron from Jolly Holiday, obviously. I really like their corn dogs. I had a bad experience one of the trips and stayed away from them. I'm not gonna go into any details, but they are good. I think that I had overdone it that day. Maybe just a tiny bit. Crispy piggy wings at Lamplight Lounge. Everything at Lamplight. But
Lobster that day.
this is my
Sorry.
it's my time to shine. But specifically the crispy piggy wings. They are so good. Try everything, just eat everything. Save up your money and eat everything because it's worth it. Okay.
Okay, what is going on over here? Am I in focus? I can't see.
We go right foot up, left foot slide, left foot up, right foot slide.
Okay, so thank
Son.
you for coming.
Thank you for coming.
Are you not gonna tell them the secret? Thanks for watching today's video. Don't forget to click the bell thing. Where's on this side?
I don't know where to usually have it.
Don't forget to click the bell so you know when we upload next. And if you have stayed this long, we have a surprise for you. Tell them the surprise. No?
What is it? What, you're gonna make me say that? So Meeshmp has giveaway.
Yay! First giveaway! Should I talk about my goal in this?
Yeah, go ahead.
Alright, so my goal before Rexy's birthday, which is in like a month and a half, is to reach 500 followers. And I know his face. I'm shooting big because he would have been turning 5, and 5 is just kind of the number I have been wanting to do. So we're gonna try. It's my first giveaway, and I am partnering up with Baby Sweets, which is Rexy's other auntie, Florence Peters, and she makes an assortment of lemon peel gummies. She has watermelon lemon peel, Gushers, which is my all-time favorite, as you all know. She also has peach rings, gummy bears, and I want to say something else, and I'm sure that she has other things in the works, but she has so graciously offered to team up with me for this giveaway. We'll be giving away 4 containers of her gummies, and So follow me on Instagram for more details. I'll be dropping that pretty soon. But if you have made it this far in our giveaway, we had a
Apple AirPods.
Okay. Maybe for the 500. You stick around for that 500, but if you are still watching the video and you've enjoyed it so far, please feel free to leave me a comment down below, and this will be considered an entry. I will enter your name 5 more times just because you guys have watched this far, and I super appreciate you guys being willing to support us. And so if you comment down below our secret emoji, which is, Helson came up with it. The secret emoji is?
The secret emoji is a combination of any emoji that would make you think of Disneyland.
So comment your favorite Disneyland emojis down below. It could tell a story, or it could hint at a title. It could be your favorite character, really anything Disney themed. And if you comment that down below, I'll enter your name 5 more times into our giveaway, and so you are 5 times more likely to win it. And this will be the first of a few giveaways that I'm gonna try to do as I make my way up to 1,000, which is the number that you need to be monetized. And yeah, I just thank you guys so much for joining us. I hope that if you're planning on going to Disneyland whenever it opens, that these are some tips that you keep in mind, and that you can refer back to, go back to Sean from ft.SitakeTube, because his Disney vlogs, they're so helpful, and he reviews a lot more food than we could go over today, so do that. Thank you to Jess Unga, I love you so much. Thank you, Sean, and thank you, Helton, for joining us on another adventure. Also, if this gets more than 40 likes, I'll make him do a part 2 to a truth or dare. Okay, thanks guys, bye.